Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Friday, November 26, 2010, and I'm Darko. Welcome to part 2 of this War on Terror, Liberty, Sovereignty news segment. And we're just going to cut right back to this story from the AP about these body scanners, and we're going to move on to North Korea and some other stories. This full body scanner popping up at courthouse story, we covered through this first couple paragraphs, and the link is posted in the last video, so you can check that out if you want to read more into it. But I finished up in the last video basically saying how these body scanners were going to go from the airports and then go to courthouses, then go to train stations and bus stations, and then eventually universities. You'll see them to get into sports games. You'll have to go through them. NFL, NHL games, you'll have to go through them. And whatever crises they have to carry out or allow happen, I'm talking about referring to the government, international government intelligence agencies, then they'll do it. So, because the people are very simple-minded, the commoners are very simple-minded. They think everything is black and white, so they get handed black and white options, black and white stories by their parents, the media, who tell them how to think, what to think about. So, no surprise. Next step for tight security could be trains, boats, and metro. So, hey, go figure, guys, right? It says, let's see. Oh, okay, see, it says, editors note, this story and its headline have been clarified to show that the Department of Homeland Security has not indicated its plans to use body scanners to tighten security at transportation sites beyond airports. Says the next step in tightened security could be on U.S. public transportation, trains, and boats. Says Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano says terrorists will continue to look for U.S. vulnerabilities, making security standards necessary, or tighter security standards necessary. Sorry. Quote, terrorists are going to continue to probe the system and try to find a way through. Napolitano said in an interview that aired Monday night on Charlie Rose. She says, I think the tighter we get on aviation, we have to also be thinking now about going on to mass transit or trains or maritime. So what do we need to be doing to strengthen our protection there? So, and she made that on the 24th. So, and this was published on what? Oh, the 23rd. Okay. So, not really sure how that works, but either way, you know, she pretty much said it. So, you know, she says that they have no plans, but she said it. So, and I think we can pretty much conclude that that's the direction that they're heading. Defiant North Korea fires artillery warning shots. So this is from the AP, so expect it to be propaganda and disinformation. If you're new to this this type information or these terms, when I talk about disinformation, you can kind of think of it as a truth sandwich. There's a little bit of truth in there, and then it's covered in lies on both sides. Or it can be two truths on the outside with a lie in the inside. And most of them tend to be that. They tend to be a little bit of truth on the outside to get you suckered in, and then bam, right in the middle, the meaty portion of the story is just a total crock, right? And it says a defiant flash of North Korean artillery within sight of the island that it attacked last week sent a warning signal to Seoul and Washington. The North is not backing down. This is from November 27th, 2010. The apparent military drill Friday came as the top U.S. commander in South Korea toured the South Korean island to survey the wreckage from the rain of artillery 3 days earlier as a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier headed towards the Yellow Sea for exercises next week with South Korea. The North warned that the joint maneuvers will push the Korean peninsula to, quote, the brink of war. So go through here and you can read this story yourself. I'm going to keep moving on and wrap up what I think is going on here. It says, analysis, U.S. carrier visit a dilemma for China. And it says here, this weekend's arrival of a U.S. aircraft carrier in the Yellow Sea poses a dilemma for Beijing. Should it protest angrily or aggravate ties with Washington, or quietly accept the presence of a key symbol of American military preeminence off China's shores? That is an interesting article, again, from the AP, because, I just proposed my little theory on this, and that is that this whole debacle in Korea, well, it's been going on for at least a year, if not more. But I'm referring to just kind of like the little standoffs and skirmishes between North Korea and South Korea have been going on for at least a year or 2 years. The U.S. and NATO have been holding. I mentioned this, I'm sorry, in my last video. I think it was in the economic news video, but either way, about how the North Koreans are basically, they represent the Chinese first and foremost, and then the Russians, and the South Koreans represent the United States, the UK, Europe, and the West. So anything that happens between the North and the South is really about the East and the West. You see how that works? And that's how it works in this upside down world. And you got to be able to see it as it is. And so that's what it's all about. And that's why you have China and Russia both bilaterally not trading in the U.S. dollar after this whole thing. And I've heard different pundits and that and go on TV, and one RT actually was the video. It's a news segment, and this individual, I believe he was a Russian, but he was saying that the North Koreans kind of got a bad rap because there's no real evidence that they fired the first shots. In fact, just like last year, where, quote, North Koreans sunk a South Korean ships, there were South Koreans that saying that they weren't even attacked. That they don't know what the hell the Western media is talking about, but they didn't even attack. The North Koreans didn't attack their ship. It was hit by a mine, by an underwater mine from World War II. So you see how stories just get twisted up? They get really twisted and distorted. And so now to finish up my point here before I move on and finish up this video is that the China Sea. It's about the South China Sea. That's what it's all about, guys. I've covered articles, plenty of articles, where you had the woman in the beginning, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who's talking about body scanners right now. Well, she's actually, what she's talking about body scanners, whether she'll go through them, she's actually the one that helped bring this about. So she should be talking about this crap, what she started, right? And it's not just her personally, because she's a puppet just like Obama pushing agendas of these international private organizations, these councils of foreign relations, these trilateral commissions, these Club of Rome's, these RAND corporations, all of these, the United Nations, they're corporations, and you know what? That's who they're working for. So, she's been going around there saying that, basically out in China, in Asia, telling the Chinese, back off. This is the West trade routes. Back off. And then they were holding drills for like 6 months. You think this is the first drill, guys? It's not. I know many of you know this, but if you're new, this isn't the first drill that the NATO and U.S. have held. It's probably about the 10th or the 20th in the last 6 months. So they're flexing their muscles, and then now they say, oh, see, we've been attacked. This is what false flag terrorism is all about. It's saying that you've been attacked. You've actually went on the attack, said you've been attacked, and then you legitimize going on the offensive so that you don't seem like the aggressor. This has been going on for a long time, and people need to wake up and just start, paying attention to what's going on, because then you just get little news bites like this, and you don't really know what's going on. So this low-key U.S. reaction to uranium enrichment revelations may have prompted North Korean aggression, analysis say. See, the analysis, the experts are going to tell you that, right? And it says, pondering possible reasons for North Korea's deadly artillery attack on its southern neighbor, some Pyongyang watchers in South Korea believe the regime is trying to prod the U.S. into talks after its most recent provocation. The unveiling of previously undisclosed uranium enrichment facilities failed to generate the desired response. So, and this next one, North Korea warns region is on brink of war. We already covered that. Moving on, North Korea has world's largest artillery force, and the drums of war are being beat as we speak right now. I didn't really want to go into it because I don't want to perpetuate the whole going and attacking Iran, because it's always about attacking Iran, isn't it? Now it's North Korea, right? It's the axis of evil. That's how you know that this is all part of the plan. You know, it's all part of the plan. Versus Iran, couldn't go after them. Now they're going to try North Korea. It's going to go back and forth. But yeah, so, you know, I don't want to perpetuate it. I'm not going to cover all the other articles that I saw floating around the internet and on the news today about how big bad, you know, North Korea's, you know, got, you know, biggest army. It's not so much the biggest army, but it's just about how basically we need to go to war with Korea right now. And like I said, most people don't even know what the hell is going on, yet they just want to go ahead and attack somebody like that on after 9/11. So the top U.S. commander in South Korea said on Wednesday that North Korea has the world's largest artillery force and could rain fire on Seoul should the communist state decide to provoke an all-out conflict. So this is the type of rhetoric that you hear to basically legitimize a preemptive policy, a preemptive war policy, to go on the attack before you're attacked. China urges Korean calm, warns over naval drills. It says here, this is from Reuters, China said on Friday it was determined to prevent an escalation of this week's violence on the Korean peninsula, but was warned against military acts near its coast at U.S. and South Korean forces prepared for exercises in the LC. So see, the powers that be actually think that, you know, the majority of the populace is that dumb. In a way, they're actually right. Of course, that's, you know, the result of years and decades of eugenics being carried out on them, on their bodies and their brains. They're not even able to even think anymore, and the amount of propaganda that has been aimed at them, they literally cannot even think anymore and form, you know, complex thoughts. So yeah, they just throw exercises, right, guys? You know, if you really believe that, I feel sorry for you. This next one up is South Korea beefs up defense. The North warns of waves of retaliation. The USS George Washington heads to the LC to start military exercises with South Korea. And of course, that's implying as if they weren't doing it already. The bodies of two South Korean civilians killed this week by the North's artillery attack. No, they said it was Marines. I don't know. They were saying that it was Marines that were killed. North's artillery attack arrived today on the mainland for burial. So we got to keep moving because we still have plenty of stories. China warns U.S. as Korea tensions rise. Beijing bears rising costs for support of Pyongyang. New take on naval exercises. So China is telling to back off. China tells America turn around the U.S. as George Washington. China sends warships to escort ship attacked by pirates. This was from the 22nd. Very important story because they were sending these ships out for, well, pirates, right? And we all know, well, we don't all know, I know that the whole threat of pirates is no more of a threat than the big bad terrorists, right? So it's definitely a globalist conspiracy, not a globalist conspiracy, but it's definitely the whole terrorist thing is a farce. It's a way to take away your liberties and your rights and your freedoms and your sovereignty, much like the people of Somalia. And but my point is that China sent these warships, just a day or two before they dumped the U.S. dollar. So they knew what was going on. They sent these ships out, and it wasn't about pirates. It was about the South China Sea and what was about to crack off. Villagers claim deaths, complicating Afghan push. And it says locals in southern Afghan Valley have accused U.S. Marines of regularly killing civilians since they launched an aggressive campaign against the Taliban over a month ago. And it says claims the Marines say are untrue and fueled by insurgent propaganda. No, well, actually, it is true. A lot of civilians are over there dying. I'm an ex-Marine, a former Marine, and I'm sorry, guys, but there's a lot of civilians that are getting killed over there, no matter how much you're trying to help them. Karzai's aide, UK to blame for Taliban imposter. Dennis Kucinich, fake Taliban leader, fake elections, fake deadline, real trouble. Got to keep moving on here. Check that article. Links will be posted. As always, security situation seen as bad by 1 in 5 Afghans. 80% say corruption affects daily life. Unauthorized U.S. strikes kill 4 Pakistanis. Israeli planes enter Lebanon airspace. And finishing up here, Israeli police abusing minors. Israeli army using Facebook to rumble draft dodgers. That's right, you have to serve in Israel. Everybody. Syrian FM warns of war with Israel. Next up, U.S. matches Soviet stay in Afghanistan. What is it now, 10 years? NATO rejects Russia's missile offer. Russia admits Stalin ordered a 1940 massacre of Polish Russian defense sector to receive large. Russia plans to move its people to big opposition to U.S. base rises in Japan. Thank you.